jam you don't spread.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Radio FreakJam, and this is a Meet the Freaks. And tonight I get the pleasure of sitting for an hour. Oh, always forget that button. Don't forget that button. I'm with the pleasure to sit an hour with my old friend, Mr. Mick White. There he is. Look.
Yay!
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, dude. Very good, thank you. Yeah, it's lovely to be here. Yeah. Oh, no, you've
done, You've done the same thing as I did. Aren't we amateurs?
Yeah, sorted. Right.
What's going on,
the
man?
only jam you don't spread, I like that.
Yeah,
clever.
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
Josh and Oggy, I've got to give it to them. They were the ones who wrote
Brilliant.
the theme for us, and the only jam you can't spread, that is us. So what's going on, man? You've appeared here before. We've done a Meet the Freaks with you before, a year ago, probably now.
I think it was, yeah. It was a really good night. I enjoyed that. I got to talk about me for an hour and a half. So, what could possibly go wrong? But no, it was a great time, mate. And thanks for having me back.
You're more than welcome, because we got a lot to talk about.
Well, yeah, there's a lot been going on. I'm got my first debut solo single came out on last Friday on the 8th of October, Emergency on Planet Earth. So we've got to put a video out as well, and then it's ahead of the album next year. So it's really exciting times. Really exciting times.
So before we get into all that, because we're going to play the video, and we've got a few exclusive tracks off of the album, which no one's heard before, I do believe.
That's right.
So all you lucky listeners out there, and I can see a few of them in the chat room now, and if you're not in the chat room, come and say hi, come and give us a hello. There's a lot more people watching than there are actually chatting at the moment, so we need them to come and say hi, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Come and say hi. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. I know I talk like Sean Dyche, but I'm all right, honestly.
So let's just get a little bit of history first. I met you years ago down at the Redback Tavern in Acton.
Yeah.
You were playing in a band called the New Originals at the time with Ash and Marty.
Good old Ash, yeah.
And Ash, Ian as well.
Yeah.
And you were a covers band at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean, that was you've kind of gone in at the kind of midpoint there, really.
This is where I met you.
Yes, yeah. So that was a kind of period of time where I've been doing music sort of professionally sort of since the mid '80s. I lived in Newcastle upon Tyne, and I was in a really good band up there called Emerson, and we started playing gigs at the Marquee and stuff like that, and I got seen by the late great Paul Sampson, who invited me down to audition for his band Paul Sampson's Empire. Got the job with Paul, and we went on tour supporting Iron Maiden in 1986 on the Summer in Time tour. So we did, we did all the UK tour and 6 nights at Hammersmith Odeon, and it was pretty crazy for a 18, 19-year-old kid, kid in a candy store, really. You're on tour with the biggest sort of rock band in the world, as they were at that time, really. So,
and technically, you'd taken over the singers of the biggest rock band in the world job by singing with Samson, because Brucey sang with Samson beforehand as well.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And it was. I don't know how I wasn't more. I didn't shit myself more about that video. It never really kind of was something that I dwelled on, But it was quite scary, really, for an 18, 19-year-old kid to be singing in the band that the lead singer of Iron Maiden had been in before, and we actually did Earth Mother in the set, which is one of Bruce's songs, and we did Vice Versa as well. So we did a couple of the tunes that Bruce had written, and it's really you just saying that now. It's really never occurred to me that how that really should have freaked me out, But I guess I was such a kind of strong-minded kid, who was so driven, and I was put in a position that that I really kind of loved, and I really took it on, with some balls and that. So it was an amazing tour, and it was like I say, we did like 6 nights at Hammersmith Odeon, and the last night at Hammersmith Odeon, there was a 3-band bill. They had that Bad News, with Adrian Edmondson and Rick Mail, and The young ones, basically, there's Nigel Planer. They were on the bill as well, and we shared a dressing room with them. And
Really?
I mean,
I bet there's stories from there you could tell.
oh, it was madness. I mean, Rick Mail was just a legend. He was exactly like he is, like he was, and yeah, it was crazy. And Brian May had just produced their album, and so he got up and did. He got up with them. So did Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page got up with Bad News as well. It was madness. So yeah, and everyone was there. It was like there was like most of Zeppelin. I think all of Zeppelin were there. Robert Plant and John Paul Jones and Sabbath were there. And I remember just walking into the green room, and I was just like, oh my god, this is like, it's my whole like life flashing before me.
All these people you have posters on your wall of.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to remember that, a year or two before this, I was down the front at gigs, giving it all that, and suddenly I'm on tour with this band, and all these crazy big guys are there, So it was amazing. It was absolutely brilliant. We did that tour, and then the band changed to Samson again. We the lineup changed a little bit, and well, it was only me and Paul actually from that tour, and we brought in some new guys, and we made a record and did a lot of touring, and I did that until the end of 1988, when I left and I formed my own band, First Strike, with Billy Colk, the legendary Billy Colk. Let's Zepp, yeah. He's singing now. He was playing bass then, and we did a lot on the London scene and a lot of touring. We went out with Uriah Heep and Giant and Dare and Shy and Slaughter and loads of sort of the bands that were around at that time. And we did a lot of shows at the Marquee, and we shot videos, and we did a lot of stuff for an unsigned band, and basically took that through till. Right until sort of the start of the 90s, really, when grunge hit, and we were just about to get signed, and we'd got a big management deal in America, and I'd just been out and in Los Angeles and negotiating that with our manager, and then grunge came along, and boom, it was all over. I blinked, and that's it. There's a no. Sorry. No more cock rock for you, Michael. We're all gonna like hate our dads and sing really drab songs. You know what I mean? So it all just kind of went away overnight. So by the time you got to me, I'd been done a lot of session work, and I'd kind of come out of the industry. Well, not come out of the industry, but I'd come out of writing and performing with sort of originals bands. And I met up with these crazy guys, Martin Saunders, one of the best drummers I've ever worked in my life, and we all Britpop was coming on, and we were all these hairy rockers, and we just thought there's some really good songs here. They just need to be done properly. So we just basically put distortion pedals on them and played them like rock. Well, you know how good it was.
Yeah.
And we just went out and just tore it up, and we had a couple of years of. Doing the Redback and university. We went big on the university circuit, and we had a ball with it. It was a great band.
Your version of Common People is still one of my favourite.
Yeah, that was yeah. I mean, you got to do it if you're going to do it. You got to go Cockney knees up, Common People, ain't you? It's you got to do that. My best memory ever of the New Originals was opening. At the Redback, opening with "What's the Story, Morning Glory," but the Metallica version, and just watching people's like peeling off the walls as we went into that riff, and people were just like, "Oh my god," and it was just incredible. It was just an absolutely brilliant time, really enjoyable.
Yeah, and we drunk far too much. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of it. I say it's enjoyable. I don't really remember a lot of it. I know I got into a lot of trouble. I'll just leave it there.
I didn't witness any of that. I can't speak, neither confirm nor deny any of it. You know what I mean? It's. I think we all got into a bit of trouble over that time, Mick, and you were leading the way a lot of the time, mate. I'm just saying.
Well, I had to do my bit.
And obviously during that time you've done 7 Days, which I was very glad to work on the artwork for you
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
And that was with Ash as well. That was basically the new originals, wasn't it? You and Ash.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think 7 Days was a kind of natural progression out of the new originals. You know, it was such a great band that I think I always wanted 7 Days really to be the new originals, but it just didn't really work out like that. You know,
Yeah.
Sean was like a record producer, and he went off to do his thing, and me and Ash really got into that writing curve that we were on, and we wrote some brilliant songs, and we kind of went off and did our thing, and then we got the deal. We got the deal when it was just the two of us, and um, yes, Jimmy, I have got a hangover. Yes, yes. Thanks for pointing that out to everyone. Thank you, mate. Yeah. I'll be talking about you later, mate. So anyway, yeah. What was I saying? Now I've lost the plot now.
You were saying that the 7 Days was
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
wanted new originals to be, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great band. It would have been great. It would have been great if we'd if that band had recorded. You know, not necessarily 7 Days, but I think it would have been great if we'd written some stuff together and recorded, because it was such an amazing band. Just 5 real big characters. You know, so. It would have been immense, but whether or not we would have been able to say sober enough to actually write something is another story.
Because it was
But
the
there you
usual
go.
suspects as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, no, well, that was actually that was afterwards, and that was
Right.
just me and Ash. We had Cool Johnny Coolin, who was in 7 Days on the drums, and a guy called Ian Cochran on the bass and vocals. It was a great player. It was a good little band, that was.
Yeah.
But that was kind of, me and Ash still wanted to do a little bit of covers and stuff while we were doing 7 Days, and that's kind of that was how it worked out. We did the Suspects. So, but it was good. It was good times. Good times.
And then, just to a bridge, really, you kind of moved away, back up to Newcastle way, and then you went and flaunted your drink-making skills across
Yeah.
the world.
Well, yeah, I think by the end of this, as we went into sort of the new millennium, I just got fed up with it, really. Rock music really just kind of, it wasn't going anywhere that I wanted to be, and it gone really underground, and I just didn't really fancy it anymore. And I just, being in a band and writing songs, it takes up so much emotional time and effort, and you put so much into it, and when it doesn't work out, it can be quite devastating, So I think I just got to that point where I just thought, well, I've had my shot now, and I've had a great, I've done a load of stuff, and I've really enjoyed it, but I think I'm ready to just try something else. And I sort of fell into the bar industry, and I got very good at it very quickly, especially cocktails, and I just started really kind of going on that, and I got to do a lot of traveling. I worked in Greece for a few years, and went to the Caribbean, and and it was just great. It was a really, really fun time as well, and it was nice to do something different for music and have a really successful career at that as well. It was good.
Yeah, and and now here we are.
I know.
And skipping on then, back
20 years.
back 20 years, and it
Yeah.
took a global pandemic for you and I to kind of go, let's talk again,
Yeah.
and we did.
Well, you just
and
popped up on Facebook one day, didn't you?
yes, yeah, I'd avoided Facebook for years, and then obviously just before the pandemic, I'd signed up for business purposes, and then now here we are, basically.
There we are, exactly. Yeah.
So
Well, good.
you've got a new album coming out, and this is
I do.
you've been working on loads of projects over lockdown, but this is the thing that is now is the Mick White solo.
Mick White solo, yeah. I mean, I've been wanting to do a solo record for probably since about 2016, 2017, something like that. I've got all these. I had all these great songs that were kind of kicking around for a while. Some stuff left over from Samson, from First Strike, stuff that I'd written after that time. And the idea was to just find some musicians and and get it recorded and put an album out. But I never really kind of found myself with the right people. And so it just kept on being something that I was talking about, but didn't really get any further than that.
Yeah,
So I, as we hit the pandemic, I've kind of started working on it, I'd met Luke, the guitarist Luke Hatton, who I've co-written most of the album with. And Luke's basically this. He's like this hotshot guitarist. He's like guitar hero. He's like a proper old-fashioned guitar hero. He's amazing. I mean, just phenomenal player. And I'd actually seen him in a pub it was about 9 years ago, and I think he was only 17 or 18 then. And literally, he came in with his band, this 3-piece band. They're all kids, and he just ripped through every guitar solo in history. I mean, it was just Crazy Train and Holy Diver and all these amazing sort of virtuoso guitar solos, but that were kind of written and performed before he was even thought of. So I got to know him, and
so he won your heart pretty quickly.
Oh, I mean, literally, he was absolutely, a phenomenal player, and he's a great lad as well, really, really good lad. So anyway, I got to know him, and I always kind of kept him in my mind. If I did something, I always thought Luke would be great to work with. So anyway, fast forward a bit, we bumped into each other, I think, at the start of 2019, and we talked about it. And I said, I've got these tracks, and I sent them over to him, and it was quite a slow sort of. There was no urgency really to it. I sent him over the tracks I had, and he played around with them, and they sounded really good, and I could see there was a kind of sound developing. And then I just said, look, let's try writing some songs as well as doing these tracks. And first song we wrote is the first single, "Emergency on Planet Earth." That was actually the first track we wrote. And yeah, we just started, as I say, steady working on it. The pandemic hit, and we had a bit more time, and we just literally put our heads down and we finished it. We finished off 10 songs. So we had a finished album, and I just before the pandemic, I'd also started working with a band in Germany called Enfield. I'd gone over to Munich and I'd recorded the vocals for an album that I'd co-written with Sven, the guitarist from Enfield. And Carsten, the drummer, has this lovely studio just outside of Munich in Bavaria. Nice. And he's a brilliant drummer, a fantastic producer. And he said, look, do you want me to put the drums on these tracks? So I was like, yeah, of course. And with it being the way it is now, we could just send the stems over to him. And he basically put the drums on it. And then him and his partner, Uli Hilbel, they've mixed the album and mastered it. And it just sounds amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we get into this a bit deeper, let's show people how amazing this sounds. And let's play a first track from this. So you've sent me over a few tracks. We've also got the video for the single. Yeah. So what would you like me to play first, sir?
Well, let's go in hardcore. Let's wake them up. This is going to be the opening song on the album. It will also be the opening track of the live set when we go out. And it's kind of my tribute, if you like, to Ronnie Dio. It's almost like a love letter between the singer and the band and the audience, and it's about that connection that you have between the band and the audience in a live situation. And it's a brilliant track. And like I say, Luke's playing on this is phenomenal. So yeah, it's a track that, like I say, it's going to be the opening track on the album, and it's heavy as, and it's a blinder. It's called "Burning in the Night."
Right, let's get into it then. This is "Burning in the Night" by the one and only Mr. Mick White. Enjoy.
Just let it go.
Burning in the night there, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mick White himself. Man there.
Oh, I feel better. It's good, isn't it?
That's all I'm saying is that.
Heavy.
You know, it doesn't need to say anything more than that. And everyone in the chat room is loving that, man.
So I'm just replying to Tim on here. In fact, I don't need to. I can talk to him, can't I? I don't need to do it. I don't need to type it. Tim's asked if we get any chance to get out of the US. I mean, we're taking this out on tour next year for sure. I mean, obviously, we would love to come out to the US. So watch this space. It really depends on how well it does and who picks up on it, etc. But I mean, I want to go everywhere with this. I mean, this album is, we've all been sat indoors. I'm sick of sitting in the studio. As much as I've loved all the writing and everything, getting out and playing, this album needs to be played live. So yes to all. Where I'll play anywhere at the minute. You know what I mean?
Have you noticed who's just come in the chat room?
Who?
Mr. Ian Edwards.
Oh God, he's in. He's here. He's in Enfield now, right? Yeah.
Yes, you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ian. How are you, son?
Good to see him as well. And we got Carsten in there, and we got James in there, and yeah, they're all hanging out with us, man.
Yeah.
All
good. Let me see, boys. Right.
So
sorry, mate.
Recording and outright, as we discussed, you took a massive sabbatical for writing and recording, and you've come back. You've thrown yourself into 3 projects. How are you finding the process of writing a new album with, such a big sort of lapse in time? The technology changes, the styles.
It's a good question. That to be honest, I think I had 20 years worth of songs in me, so I think the writing process in itself, in terms of actually writing the tunes, I found remarkably easy, because I was basically writing the solo album and White Skies, which is the project I'm doing with Ray and Pete. Which is more of an AOR American rock sound. I was basically writing that at the same time I was writing the solo album. So the actual writing part of it I found really easy. Carsten set me up with a PreSonus with a DAW. So I've actually picked that up quite well. I've really enjoyed learning that process. It's been good. It's a really great tool to write with. But I think the main thing really is the quality of the music that's been given to me to write over. I mean, with all 3 projects, with Enfield, with the solo album, and also with White Skies, I literally have had the best music come at me that were dying to have good songs written over them. So it's been it hasn't been a difficult process really, other than just trying to juggle all the things and make sure that I'm not repeating myself with the different projects, and that's really been the main things, because I think when you're writing a lot of stuff at the same time, you can sort of do something that's similar on different songs in different bands. So that's just one thing that I've had to look out for. But other than that, it's been a really, really lovely process, and to be honest, it saved my lockdown really. It really did. So it's
and obviously,
I'm very blessed with. Sorry. I'm just going to say I'm just really, really, very, very, very blessed to be working with all of the people that I'm working with, not just Luke and Carsten on this, but with Ray and Pete on White Skies, and with all the Enfield boys. I've really fallen on my feet for a geezer that has been retired for 20 years to come out and have these great people to work and write with has been a dream really.
And I was pretty much going to say the same sort of thing. You have sent me a lot of music over lockdown, a lot, and you've allowed me to play the occasional one on shows and stuff here as well.
Dude, of course.
And obviously, 3 different projects, totally 3 different projects. It was Emily White Skies, if I remember rightly.
Emily's White Skies.
Emily's White Skies, and obviously we've had King of Cool from Enfield, which you've let us play, and obviously we've what's the one you gave us for the original project? I can't remember. But we've had the piano bass one. What's that one?
Strong.
Sorry.
Oh.
Better be strong. That's it. Better be strong. Yeah. Mate,
go on,
all the music that you've been producing at the moment is massive in every way, production wise, sound wise, melody wise, and you've been cranking out some real tunes. So Tell us a bit more about the album that's coming out soon.
Okay, so the solo album really, like I say, we me and Luke, we started writing some tunes, and there was some songs left over from the old days. It's a song that I co-wrote with Paul Sampson called "Don't Close Your Eyes," which is a real full-on rocker. It's a great song, and I always loved it. And I think it only ever came out like on a compilation album or something. So it was the first song that Luke really kind of did his magic on, and it's become a bit of a blueprint for the sound, I think. So there's that. We've redone "Hold Tight" from First Strike. There's a song called the title track "Something's Got to Give," which is a track that I wrote, I think, around early '90s. And then the rest of the we've done "Better Be Strong." We've reworked it.
Right.
We've done it a bit heavier than the version that you played last time. We've done it a bit heavier than that. So because I really wanted to put it on the album, but it was that version was too AOR. It was too lightweight for this album, because especially the way it's turned out. You've just heard the first track, so
Yes.
it's a full on album. And then me and Luke really hit our stride on songwriting. Luke had some tracks that he had kicking around, which were full tracks, which I then put lyrics and melodies on. And then we wrote "Emergency on Planet Earth," and I think another one you're going to play, "Ordinary Girl," which is another one that we wrote together from scratch, and another one called "Sometimes Superman," which will probably be the second single. Cool. So and then there's a number of other tracks. There's "Altar of Desire." There's "Without You." "Burning in the Night." There's one called "You Poison My Love," that's another old one which Luke kind of reworked and did a lot to. So yeah, it's a really great album. It's big, it's heavy, much heavier than I think I thought it was going to be. It kind of didn't turn out quite the way that I'd originally thought, but I'm very glad it didn't. I'm very glad that Luke, Carsten, and Uli had the influence on it that they did. Carsten and Uli have put this really full-on modern production on it. It really sounds like a new that new style where you've got very upfront drums and all that kind of stuff. But then it's got my sort of my real kind of 80s rock, kind of big harmonies, big melodies. So it's a real kind of early 80s classic rock record, but really wraps up in a very big modern production. And I really think it's got its own sound, So I'm really like can't wait for people to hear it. It's really exciting, yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
And so the single's out now. That came out on Friday.
Came out Friday, yeah.
When's the album actually gonna hit the shelves?
Well, I think what we're looking at is putting out another single. We'll do another digital release in February. And then we'll probably put the album out, I would think late spring, so maybe April, May at the very, very latest, but I think April. And that will be coming out on a physical product, so CD and hopefully vinyl, as well as a digital download. So, yeah, it's and Emergency on Planet Earth is out now, available to download, folks, on all digital platforms.
It's easier to say that, isn't it, than going Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. What we'll do actually is I'll make sure that I head over to Spotify and add that to the FreakJam playlist that we've got.
Yeah, please do, mate. Please do.
So people can check that out as well.
Yeah.
So we'll do that after the show too. So the whole, there's no real whole concept to the album. This is you kind of bringing songs from all different places together into one album. So, is there plans for more of this?
I definitely would like to do another album with this team. I mean, I've been very, very blessed, as I said before. I mean, on this album, I kind of feel a bit like I'm like a hard rock Tony Stark. I basically assembled the Avengers on this one. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like I've got Luke Hatton, who's just the most phenomenal guitarist and a brilliant co-writer, lovely guy to write with. Carsten Engar, who plays drums and he's mixed and mastered it along with Ulrich Hilbel. So that that's the mainstay within the framework of the band. But Jimmy Heron, James Heron, a very old dear, one of my most favourite people in the world who's done the video. And Jimmy's just this genius who's done the video's incredible. You'll see it later on. I mean, it's all been done on green screens and it just looks $1 million. It looks like a Hollywood movie, you know. And so you know, and obviously a good selfie. And I mean, your artwork, dude, is phenomenal. I mean,
Thanks, sir.
I have such a brand. You've given me a brand. You know, the logo's amazing, and it just, you know, it's going to look great on t-shirts and backdrops and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I really have, you know, like I say, managed to assemble this amazing bunch of people to really help me sort of, you know, launch this and get it going on. So I love you all dearly.
We love you too, man. And seriously, you know, it's so much easier to work with a person like yourself who brings the passion and the power to behind what he's doing. You know, you've got that commitment there. You've got that desire to do something with your talents and your music, and you know, it just makes everyone else's job that little bit easier. I'm sure the rest of the guys will agree with me.
Bless you, mate. I appreciate that. I mean, it's kind of like you know, I was done. I'd retired. So when you come back and you get a second chance, you've got to grab it by the horns, you know. And like I've said, I've been so blessed that I've had all these wonderful people, all these wonderful projects, you know, that have come my way, which has all stemmed. I've got to mention Marty Punch as well, who wrote "Better Be Strong." I mean, this has all stemmed from that one song, that session that I did in 2019. You know, I through that, I listened when I recorded my voice. You know, and I was in the studio and I got quite emotional when I heard it playing back, because it was like it's the first time I heard my voice recorded for so many years. My voice has changed quite a lot, and it's a lot richer. It's a lot more lived in now. And I just went, wow, you know, this is me. This is who I am. I need to do this again. I need to sing. I need to write. I need to be, you know, I need to be that person that, as a kid, I always wanted to be. I need to do that. So. Like I say, doing that session was a real turning point, and from there, I got involved with the Enfield guys, and you know, and it's all kind of spiraled from there. So yeah, whatever, Jim, whatever. So yeah, it's you know, it's so when you've been out of it for 20 years and you come back, and like I say, you've just got to go for it and put all your balls and all your passion and everything into it. And I've been so lucky that, you know, people are coming along for the ride with me. So you know, we'll watch this space. We'll see where we go.
I think you'll agree with me. You know, back in the Redback days, we were surrounded by some phenomenal talent. All people who deserved to do a lot more than they actually managed to achieve at that point in time. Yeah. And you know, you were always one of those people who stuck out as being one of these people that deserved more out of the music industry, but it was just what it was at that time. As you say, you know, music made a massive change over that sort of era, and
yeah,
you know,
I mean, the grunge thing was a killer. You know, you know, I don't ever want it to sound like a hard luck story, you know, because I had some great times, and First Strike was a brilliant band, and you know, we really probably should have done a lot more than we did, but it was kind of taken out of our hands by grunge. And you know, it's one of them things you look back on and you can't really have regrets, because there's nothing you could do. It wasn't just us. There was so many bands. I was talking to my buddy Greg Hart from Cats in Space quite recently, and you know, he's in the same position as me. You know, it was such a game changer, and I don't think people realise how many good bands were kind of left by the wayside at that time. You know, as much as grunge was popular and Nirvana and all that kind of stuff, you know, there was a lot of bands that suddenly just became irrelevant, and it was a really tough time for people, because you know, you kind of went from being king of the castle to being just nothing, and that's hard for anybody to deal with, especially musicians with, you know, with our egos and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So it was a really tough time, you know, but like, you know, you've got to roll with it and just go, you know. So it's one of them things, but I think things are a little bit things have come back a little bit with rock now. I think it's the last 5 or 6 years. I've noticed there's a movement again. There's more. There's some absolutely fantastic bands out there, and I think I couldn't really have chosen a better time to be doing something again, because I think there's definitely, the audience never really went away, but it's become a lot more out of the shadows again. People are really putting their people are really sort of saying I love rock music, and like I say, there's so many great bands out there now, and all the festivals that are going on, and
And there's a massive resurgence for 80s sort of style rock and 70s style rock as well. So, I think, it's a good time to be alive from that point of view, and a good time to make your comeback, mate. So let's have another song.
Okay.
What'd you fancy?
Let's have it's a song called "Without You,"
Yep.
which is it's quite a for some reason this song, it reminds me, it's very much a classic rock tune, but there's the orchestration that Luke's done on there. Luke plays the guitars and the bass and the keyboards. He's a real clever geezer. And there's something that reminds me a little bit of Evanescence and stuff. It's quite bombastic, this track, and it's a straight ahead kind of full on sort of rock tune. Lyrically, it's basically that kind of situation where you're looking at someone and you love them unconditionally, but you don't get that back, and it's that kind of heartbreak kind of relationship that you end up with. But so it's quite an emotional kind of track. It's very quite an emotional vocal. But it's probably my favourite song on the album, to be honest. I really hope you enjoy this one. It's called "Without You."
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Without You, Mr. Mick White.
Oh, since the day that I met you. Been so long since I could smile. I'm just angry and confused. Girl, what more can I do? There's nothing without you. It's what you put me through. I've nothing without you.
Without you there by Mr. Mick White himself. You're playing it, aren't you? He's playing it on the YouTube channel, look.
Hold on, mate. Sorry, dude.
That's all right. There we go. Awesome. Mate, sounding awesome. Sounding slick.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yeah. It's like I say, I love that track. It's it's probably the most kind of more of the melodic side, that people would probably expect me than the rest of the album. I think it's it's a big chorus, big harmonies and stuff.
And if you're going to do an 80s album, you need that track on the album.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think like I said to you before, because I was writing this along at the same time I was writing White Skies. I really wanted to. I really wanted to keep them separate. White Skies is such an amazing project in that genre. The stuff that me, Pete, and Ray have come up with for White Skies is it's very authentic to that kind of late 70s, early 80s AOR, that Journey, Foreigner, Toto kind of sound, and the voice is a lot cleaner on that. I've tried to go for a more aggressive vocal on the album. On the solo album than I have with White Skies. So I think a lot of my more melodic, kind of big harmony stuff went to White Skies. But having said that, I mean, I'm not saying that the songs on the solo album aren't really melodic, and they are, but they're a bit more aggressive, I guess. There's certainly more of a throaty vocal on there, and than probably I've done before, and I quite like that side of my voice. So
do you know what? It's new for me to hear as well. I mean, you've got a lot more grit in your voice. I think it's the best way of putting it in these recordings than I'm used to it, and it suits you, man.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I mean, I really went for it on these. As I said, I just realised that the because the backing tracks were so they're quite aggressive and quite full on. It really needed that from the vocal as well. It needed some intensity from the vocal. So, and the other thing with this is as well, which has been the case with all of the projects, with this and White Skies, is that I've had to do the vocals on my own. I haven't had a producer. So literally, I've had to produce myself, which is that has actually been quite a new experience for me, because I haven't had someone to bounce off. So I've had to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I've had to kind of say to myself, no, that's not good enough, and and do this again and do that again and and that's been quite a different experience. I mean, I think going forward, you were talking about maybe doing another album. I think I would love it if the next time we could do it, and I could be in a studio setting to do it, and work maybe with Carsten, in the studio on the vocals, and have someone to bounce off, rather than doing it all myself.
Mate, I've done, I sit here in my home studio recording vocals for myself and that all the time, and it is the hardest job, because, you can't be that objective about it, if that makes sense. I find my worst critic comes out, and no take's good enough sometimes, what I mean?
Yeah.
And you've got to learn to step back from it.
You do, and I think what I learned to do was to just park it and come back to it, and and listen to it again rather than because I'm like that. I'm quite critical. And so it's good, but then you send it out to you send it out to Luke and to Carsten and with White Skies with Ray and Pete, and you get good feedback, and you're doing something right. So
Yeah.
you've always got that avenue to go down, but I think when you're actually recording it, it's definitely a different sort of process, and and having that ability to keep the good stuff and not not throw everything in the bin.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to get used to.
Yeah. Did you do all your own editing, or did you send over like a stack?
I
You've
did
done your own editing as well.
Well, I did. I sort of I was learning that as I was going on. So with White Skies, I edited it all down and even sort of mixed the vocals to a certain extent. I put the compressors on there and the reverb and and the EQs and got it sounding how I wanted it to, and then send it over to Pete, and then Pete does his magic on the White Skies with the solo album. I set that completely dry, just the stems over to Carsten and Early, and they put the kitchen sink on it in First Take Studios and stuff. So, but and they got a brilliant vocal sound, I've got to say, because it's you consider it just all these vocals were just recorded in my little studio in the house. It doesn't sound like that. So it's amazing, really.
It's amazing what we can do these days in our own living rooms.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I said to you before the show, we'll sort of do a song at about 5:15. We'll do a song at 5:30.
Yeah,
we'll do
we're going on a bit, aren't we?
We've had the second song, and it's 10 to 10. So, should we have another song?
Yeah, let's do it, mate. Let's do it. Yeah. See, that's the problem when you let old cockneys on the show. They just waffle on, don't they?
And it's always great to catch up with you, and you're easy to talk to, and it works. I don't mind. I've got nothing else planned for tonight, so it's all good.
Well, fair play, mate.
So, what's the next track then? Ordinary Girl.
This is the ballad. Ballad. It's still Carson still manages to sneak some double bass drums into it, but yeah, this is the ballad. It's very quickly. It's just a song about a young girl who just gets into the wrong crowd, and and her life takes a turn for the worst. So it's quite a heavy lyric, really, but it's a beautiful song, absolutely beautiful song, and I'm really proud of this one. It's a long way lyrically. It's a long way from Girls of the World. You know what I mean?
Is this a more mature Mick White reflecting on modern times?
Yeah, I think it is. There were these terrible stories about grooming and and all that stuff, and you can't help, as a father, you can't help but be affected by stuff like that, and I don't know. I didn't have any plans for it to be that, but it just kind of when I started, I came up with this line: "She was an ordinary girl," which is the sort of theme through in it, and then the lyric just kind of came naturally from that. So I love this song. It's a beautiful track. So I hope everyone likes it. So Ordinary Girl.
Ordinary Girl. Here it comes.
She was an ordinary girl. It was an unforgiving world. He promised everything she yearned for, but then the lines became so blurred. And things were happening if you talk to strangers, was what her mama said. Keeps going round her head. She was an ordinary girl. Velvet empires, young dreams sacrificed. She lays down her body tonight. No tears left to fight, just
Ordinary Girl there. Oh, something's got to give, and it's going to come soon.
Yeah.
Dude, mate,
Next
look,
year.
cheers.
Cheers, geezer.
Chinkety chink and all that business. Mate, I think, you know, from what we've heard tonight, you know, the new album is sounding absolutely awesome. We've talked about Enfield, we've talked a bit about White Skies as well. So why don't you tell us where people can find out a bit more about all of this stuff? Social media, website?
Yeah, socials is what's it called? Facebook, yeah. Facebook and Facebook and Instagram are at Mick White Vocalist. There's also on Twitter. I'm learning all this as I go along. I'm making this shit up as I go along. But at Mick White Vocals is Twitter, and there's a YouTube channel as well. So the plan is really that I'm going to start. We've got the video up now. Jimmy Herron's done some. He's done a long interview, like a 17-minute, which looks fantastic. Not vocal sit.
Vocal. I was trying to chat. We'll try that again.
So you're good at all this computer shit as well, aren't you, mate?
I am sometimes when I concentrate on it. When I'm trying to do two things, not so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair play. Yeah. Like I say, I'm going to start putting some stuff up on YouTube. We've got this brilliant interview that Jimmy's done, like an EPK, which is like 70 minutes long, and it tells the whole story, and it's really, really good. But he's done some snippets, which I'm going to start sticking up on Facebook. I've already put one up. There's one coming next, which is like the story. That's it, buddy. That's it. You got it. Which is like the story of the video. And there's lots of little bits coming on like that. So and the YouTube channel is Mick White Official. So yeah, so at Mick White Vocalist is the Facebook, which is the main one. I mean, we put the video out. We did a premiere on Facebook on Friday, and it's already had over 4,500 views. I think it's had like 60 shares. So yeah, it's been quite amazing, really, how well it's gone since the single came out on Friday. I know we've had a lot of downloads already, a lot of streams. So it's been a really encouraging start, you know. So yeah, but there's lots more to come. As I say, you know, we're gonna spend about 8 weeks working on the single. I've got a PR company involved, Bespoke Media PR, a guy called Martin Dunning. Who's working the single with all the press and the radio stations and stuff. I think it's had something like 60 plus plays worldwide. We've been played in like the UK, US, Germany, France, Holland, Denmark, South Africa. So it's been picked up. Ireland, you know, it's getting picked up by quite a few radio stations. We've had some good stuff in Germany on one of the big stations out there, playlisted it quite early on, and was being on quite heavy rotation there. So like I say, I'm so far so good. It's looking really, really good, really good.
Awesome. I know you got played on one of the biggest radio stations in Germany, didn't you?
Yeah, SWR3 and yeah, basically. So what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks is doing studio IDs. And I don't sing anymore. I just do studio IDs. Hello, this is Mick White, and you're listening to Porridge Radio. You know, it's just.
You could have said Radio FreakJam, so I could have nicked that.
Okay, yeah. But you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You know, and you know, it's like I say, there's all this social media stuff. It's like a full-time job, but you know, it's the way of the world now, and you've got to adapt.
It is, and but you know, as long as people can get out there and find you, obviously,
exactly.
the single "Emergency on Planet Earth," that's out on Spotify and Amazon and iTunes,
on everything, everything. The full Monty, yeah.
But let's talk a bit about the video.
Yeah, let's talk about the video. Let's give Jimmy his moment.
Go on, Jimmy, it's your turn.
No, we're like I said a little bit before. We shot this video. Me and Jimmy. We're old buddies, and like I say, he's one of my most favourite people in the world. And he said, "Look, I want to do a video. I want to do your video." So we talked about it, and he come up with this. He come up with a lot of ideas about obviously the title Emergency on Planet Earth, you know, and that's another thing I want to talk about as well, is that there's a massive message there. You know, we are destroying this beautiful planet of ours, and you know, this song is, you know, is basically about that, about what's going on, and you know, and how hopeless the situation is, because we all know it's going on, but nothing's getting done about it, and it's all talk. It's all talk. Nothing gets done, and that's really what it is. It's very much written from the perspective of a father, you know, who wants. It's always about you, Jim. As a father, you know, who wants the world to be a better place for his son, you know, and so Jim's a real eco warrior, like myself, and so we wanted to do something a little bit out of, you know, a little bit different to the normal sort of performance side. So Jim's a Tesla driver, obviously. So he's got this beautiful car, and we shot all this stuff with me kind of playing this corporate bad guy, you know, who's you know, driving through this kind of dystopian world. And I've got my buddy Daz Bailey, who he plays the chauffeur, and I just berate him. I'm just really horrible to him all the way through the video. But we did lots of it with all the performance side. Me, Luke, and Carsten, we did it all on green screens. Jim spent hours and hours and hours, you know, making it look like it does. I mean, you know, that he's put us on billboards and TVs and on dashboards of cars, and I mean, it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then I had this idea that my son Jake looks so much like me.
Poor
when
kid.
I was
Sorry.
aged. You what?
I said poor kid.
Yeah. So yeah, he looked so much like me when I was a kid. So I wanted. There's a really kind of melancholic, sort of reflective bit in the middle of the track. So we kind of do this thing where Jake plays my younger self, and I'm kind of reflecting on where it's all gone wrong and all this kind of stuff, and it works brilliant. And Jim did this real clever thing with us spinning, and my face comes and Jake's face, and it's really, really cool. But it's a brilliant video. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal, and you know, it's you can't really hear the song without seeing the video now. You know, they've kind of gelled together, and it's just, you know, it's a phenomenal video. So Jim, you did good, kidder. You did good.
Yeah, and you know, I've obviously seen it, and it looks fantastic. It really does. And I've had a chat with Jim as well. He seems like a very nice man.
I'm sorry, mate. I bet that was a short conversation. What do you keep on the phone for about 5 hours? Yeah.
He's a very nice man, and obviously, you know, I'm a bit of a geek at heart. I like talking technical,
mate, he talks
and
more than
you know,
me. He talks more than me. It's not. I didn't think that was possible.
But look, mate. Thank you. We're going to play out on the video.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight and sitting down
Absolute
and doing
pleasure,
this.
mate. Always a pleasure. Always good to see you. And I will get down to one of your jam nights.
Please do.
That is going to happen at some stage. Next time I'm down in London, I will do my best to make it along.
Yeah, we need a bit of that.
Yeah, lovely to meet you. Thanks everyone for having, you know, for listening, and hope you've enjoyed the tracks. And yeah, all good. Emergency on Planet Earth. It's out now. Go out and download it, please.
They will. I'm certain they will. Listen, guys, we've got Lunchtime Live on Wednesday. I'll be here at 12 o'clock lunchtime doing that. I'll probably play a Mick White song while we're there. Woohoo! We've got, obviously, the jam down at Bumbles on Thursday. We start there at 9 o'clock. Come down, join us, join the house band, play solo, do whatever you want. There's loads of good drinks, good company. And so that's Mr. Bumble in Camberley. Come and join us for that. And then we'll be back on Sunday for the online jam night as well. So busy.
Brilliant.
Lots going on, which is great. So, mate, I said thank you so much. Emergency on Planet Earth is out now. Any final words to the lovely people watching?
Just as I say, thank you. Thanks for listening. And I want to push this message. You know, emergency on Planet Earth. We've all got to do our bit, and you know, it's. We've got to do something. We've got to save this planet from all these terrible people that are running it. You know, we need a revolution. That's my final word. We need a revolution.
Amen to that, brother. But let's look. You and I. You call me about a job, and then we spend 20 minutes talking about politics and the world and the state of it, and then we spend about 5 minutes on the job, and then we hang up.
Well, you know.
I don't know how we've avoided it tonight, to be honest. That could be a whole another show.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. All right, my friend. Listen, you take care, and I'll see you soon, yeah?
Yeah, stick around. I'll have a quick chat with you afterwards. Guys, this is
mate.
Emergency Planet Earth by Mick White. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks to everyone in the chat room for being a part of what we're doing and enjoying yourselves. If you can support the show, please buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Radio FreakJam, or buy one of these wonderful T-shirts or something similar at FreakJam.com.
Or Lemmy shirt.
Or we don't sell the Lemmy shirts, but the Lemmy shirt is
from
cool.
Our sponsor. Hello.
You were slightly worried that people would only see the top of that before you came on,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
I'm not a Nazi, honest.
Dude, it's lovely to see you. This is Emergency on Planet Earth. I'll see you later, guys. Take care.
There's a fire in the sky and it's burning all over the world. They turn a blind eye, but you can't avoid the coming storm. Wake up, people, can't you see what's going on? Time is running out to make a change before everything's gone. Oh, I don't know why, I keep wondering, I just keep wondering why, oh why, I just don't know. Keep wondering, I just keep wondering why, and why. Light up the sky, something's very wrong. Gotta move, call out to the world. It's do or die. Get on back this time. Gotta move, emergency on planet Earth. They look the other way while we sit and watch the innocent burn. We're choking up the seas when the hell is anyone